Hey everyone, welcome to my review for Bleach Thousand Year Blood War Core 4 Episode 2 Son of Darkness. And we had a really good episode this weekend. I was looking forward to it, not sure exactly what direction they were going to go with it as far as what we were going to cover next. We could either have continued the Urahara Naklavar stuff, or we could have gone to Yuabaha and Ichigo, and we ended up doing both this episode, which was really cool. So starting off the fight with Urahara and Naklavar, now that Yorichi has been kind of taken out of the fight, we got to really see Urahara go solo there against Naklavar as he did his Volster and Dish and created his poison gift ball deluxe all around them. That was always a really fun part of the manga. One of the final confrontations I enjoyed the most. But the manga actually had it be a little bit briefer as far as Urahara using his Bankai, which I thought was handled really well here. I would have loved to see it expanded even more, but I get that you can't make it completely different, I want to see more of it. But they did give us some amazing moments with it. There is a lot more I would say there's a lot more movement and action in a part of the fight when he's using the stitches he makes as a rail, just like zipping around. It was amazing. It reminded me of a little bit of Attack on Titan energy, but for me, being a big Zelda guy, it reminded me of a fight in Twilight Princess when you're using the spinner to jump on walls and like rail around the battle. So that got me really excited. I thought that was super fun and a nice way to give a little more energy to the fight, because in the manga he uses his Bankai, and then you get a little bit of stuff, but it's mostly kind of static for a few pages. But it brought just a little some nice movement to the whole thing. Still ended the same way, which isn't surprising. A lot of the Thousand Year Blood War additions still lead to the same end result. They're making additions and changes, but they're mostly keeping true to the manga. So it ends the same way, with Naklavar being killed by Grimjow coming up behind him and ripping out his heart and splishing his heart, and then slowly, very slowly dying, which I always loved. This was another moment I thought they might add something, and they still could. There's still an opportunity to, as far as once Naklavar dies, the gift ball's shrinking and gonna explode and kill Grimjow and Urahara with it. But Nelliel is outside ready to save them, and I thought, oh, maybe we'll see Nelliel jump in and actually see the rescue, but we still could, I suppose, but we didn't this episode, and that's pretty much all Nelliel has in the manga, you know. So I was hoping for a little expansion there. Maybe we will. But yeah, the actual fight I thought was handled really well. I think just like the few 30 seconds that they added to it of Urahara's zipping around was just really fun. It added a little bit of flavor to it. I thought was cool. And just even the extra like stitching the feet and stuff. Yeah, his Bankai looked great. The moment when it first arrived was really cool looking. It like emerged and then like the curtain was pulled. I thought that was really cool looking. I think Naklavar remains my favorite Sternritter. I really enjoy him. They kept the great conversation with Urahara explaining why he's a different kind of scientist than Naklavar, because Naklavar's perspective is so like he doesn't care about doing it himself. He just wants to observe and see what someone else does. While Urahara's like, me and Mayuri, we would do it ourselves. If we want to make a change, we'll be the ones holding the change. I thought that was really beautiful in the manga, and I'm glad they kept it. I should say, as we shift over to the other section of the episode starts with a completely anime only edition, where we see this. It looks like a field trip with Orihime at like a butterfly museum, observatory. What do they call those types of places? I don't remember. Like a greenhouse. I've been to a few of them. But yeah, it's like a butterfly place. There's a word for it. There's a word for it. I just cannot find the word. And her watching the butterflies was interesting, and then looking mostly at the flowers and comparing the flowers to Ichigo, and Tatsuki being there, any extra bit of Tatsuki is great in my book. I always wished there was way more Tatsuki than we got in the manga, and I wish she had a bigger role. So if they want to add like an extra 2 minutes of Tatsuki just chatting in a flashback, I'm cool with it. I'll never say no to more Tatsuki. Yeah, it was nice seeing her and Orihime back in the day. Life seemed so much simpler, and now the way it's connected to how she views Ichigo and how she wants to protect Ichigo really leaned in nicely to where the episode ends up going. As Ichigo and Orihime reach the throne room, and they kept that great moment where they're standing outside the throne room. They did cut it down a little bit, I think. I think there was more of a conversation in the manga between Ichigo and Orihime about protecting him, like watching his back as before they go in. Whereas this, they got to the throne room and she just kind of has her moment of thinking, like, I can finally protect Ichigo, which is a great moment. I do feel like the manga dwelled a little bit more on that scene, where this kind of just like they kept walking right up. Still good, still really liked it, but yeah, I think there was a little bit more to that in the manga, just another beat or two. The fight beginning between him and Yubaha was really cool, and the lighting is so much different than I pictured in the manga. It's a lot darker, more purple, but the Thousand Year Blood War in general, the anime has been very much about colors and uh, darkness and shadows, and it's done great with the lighting, and this is no exception. I thought it really emphasized the black goopiness when it's coming at Ichigo, and like everything else is like glowing purple, but they captured that feeling of his overwhelming power really well, because there's a moment that I loved where Ichigo's fighting off that's like a wide shot, and the darkness is like pushing Ichigo into the corner of the screen, which I thought was really cool, and eventually at the end, like shuts him into between its shadows. Really cool visuals. I really liked that a lot. They kept the great moments of, him calling him his father and Ichigo not liking that. I thought that was gonna maybe build into more Ishin. It still could. There's a few changes as well in this episode as we cut more to the fight between Uryu and Jugram in between Ichigo and Yuabaha, because obviously they're trying to take out Jugram while he still has the Almighty, so we could stop Yuabaha. And the additions were really cool, just like last episode. A lot more fighting, a lot more Uryu using his Volstern with all the arrows everywhere, and Jugram having to fend them off with his powers. And you got like this moment where he like the almighty power like starts forming like a cloak looking thing around him. It just was really cool and completely new. But yeah, you can tell the animators really felt strongly over the last two episodes that Uryu and Hashvalt needed much more of a fight, and they have been giving us much more of a fight. And just when I think it's gonna end and they're gonna go back to kind of where it picked up in the manga, they give us more. And Jugram putting on that like almighty veil, I was like, oh, I thought his powers were about to go away, but instead it looks like we're ramping up to another part of the fight, maybe? Pretty interesting. I wasn't expecting it to be expanded this much. I thought episode 1 was going to be like, oh cool, they gave us an actual bit of a fight. But they just keep going. They just keep having him dodging stuff, and it's just really cool. I appreciate that a lot. And I'm someone, like I said before, I didn't mind what we got in the manga between them. I liked the clash of ideologies, but you can still have that and have a great fight as well. So, like, okay, cool. I will gladly accept more if you would like to give me more of that battle. So I really dug that. But overall, once again, it's sticking mostly to the manga. There's just some additions fight-wise so far. And then last episode, you had more of the realities cracking apart scale. That was great. But yeah, so far it's mostly been fights, getting more moments or being pretty much completely new, like Uryu and Hashvalt. Ichigo and Yuabaha's fight was pretty much right off the page. There might have been a few little moments, but yeah, mostly so far it's similar. But I thought it was going to end in a different place, but I guess that'll be next episode, so we'll see. I thought this episode, as it was going, I'm like, oh, maybe we're gonna. Because at first I thought it was going to end when Yuabaha stood up from the throne, which is how one of the chapters ends. And then as it kept going, I'm like, oh, maybe we're going to go all the way up to a big Ichigo moment. But that, because it would be a really good cliffhanger, and maybe we still will do that. I'm trying to remember the timeline of events, though. I think that'll be some point next episode, unless we cut to a different fight, which we could. We'll see. There's still a lot of interesting stuff coming, and I've been loving these episodes so far. And as far as these first two episodes, which would you say is your favorite? I think I preferred this episode overall, and it's not just because of my feelings about the Yoruichi situation in general. Like, it's not. I accepted that overall, but this one, I thought they handled the Bankai moment with Urahara beautifully, expanded on it nicely. I loved the Yubaha Ichigo stuff, and then also the expanded fight between Jugram and Uryu continues to be great. So I just thought this episode had a lot of great action while also hyping up the future events, and the whole handling of Naklavar's death was handled well. It was a lot like the manga, and I'm someone that really enjoys Grimjow having a moment, you know. Could we have given him more of something? Sure. But him taking out Naklavar, I thought worked pretty well, because I felt like Naklavar, you have to really take him by surprise in order to actually beat him, because otherwise he's just going to adapt. He's just going to figure out how to survive. And I like that Urahara obviously played a role in getting Grimjow to that moment, and it showed once again that he considers all possibilities, and that's what makes him so dangerous. So that was all handled really well. It's all handled well. I paid more attention to the opening and closing this time, just because I was like, okay, I've seen these once, but I want to see if I can pick out more details. There's a cool moment in the ending. See Yashiru's reflection in a puddle by Kenpachi, and then the reflection disappears. What could that possibly mean? Maybe we'll find out in an episode or two. Loved that. Loved that. And I've noticed there's a lot of Neliel. And by a lot, I mean really just 2 shots of her. But they make sure to show Neliel in both the opening and the ending. And she's in this episode, like I said, for like a little moment. But maybe we'll get more of her. We'll see. We'll see. And there's a fight coming up that I can't wait to see animated, that I've been so looking forward to since the moment I looked at the pages. So I'm excited for that. I don't know if that'll be next episode. Maybe it'll be episode 4 or 5. But we're really coming down to the wire here. I heard this is only 10 episodes, this Cour, which is kind of disappointing a little bit, because obviously just for the sake of consistency, I would have loved it to be around the same time as the others. But in fairness, there wasn't much of the manga left with where they left it at Cour 3. And I know people said, oh, they're going to expand a lot, which they could maybe, but I think they also want to maintain its faithfulness to the manga as well. So I think they're finding little moments to expand on and make more action-packed so far, or, you know, little character beats like Orahime's this episode with her flashback. But yeah, you could easily wrap up the story in 10 if you're sticking to the manga. It's just selfishly, I would have loved to just put on more extensive expansions on a couple of things. But if they're doing it just for the sake of padding out the episode count, it would probably bite us in the ass in the end. So it's probably for the best that they're just staying mostly consistent to the manga, and they're not going to just randomly throw in an entirely new battle just to get an extra episode or two, you know what I mean? We're not going to have a whole episode of the Visored fighting Gerard, I don't think. That would be cool, and I would appreciate it, but it wouldn't be very true to the manga. I think when we do see them fight, which they set up at the end of Cour 3, it probably won't be for very long, but hopefully just enough to satisfy my Visored needs. But yeah, I think it'll be fine. It'll work out well in the end, I'm sure, with just the 10 episodes, but it just makes me sad that there's a little less than usual. Unless maybe the last episode will be like an hour long, and that's how you make up for it. Doubtful, but maybe. So that'll do it. That was episode 2 of Core 4 of the Thousand Year Blood War. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts below. I'd love to hear them. But yeah, I enjoyed this episode more than episode 1, and I'm excited to see what we're doing next because manga stuff coming up is real good, and I can't wait to see it actually come to life with the music and the. Speaking of music, this creepy music when Noklavar is transformed in the beginning was really unnerving. It felt ancient and scary. And I was like, ooh. All right, I'm done. I'm done. That's it for now. I'll see you guys very soon here on YouTube. I've got a big analysis video coming for the one-shot anniversary chapter of the manga very soon, hopefully. It should be, I'm hoping for tomorrow. We'll see. But otherwise, if you want to see the full reaction of this episode, it's on Patreon, and you can see me watching it like we're watching it together. All right, I'll see you guys later. Take care. Bye.